All right, we already get them started, y'all. All right. Oh, you want to put my phone over there?
Yeah.
Those of us that indulge in work daily are trying to find standards of measure of manifestation. We do so because it's a change of progression among people in every place.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yaga, yaga.
All right. Hey, oh yeah, we can.
Yaga, yaga.
Hey, of course, joining me,
Yaga, yaga.
my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma.
It's your boy.
Our intellectual surgeon.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, how y'all doing this morning? I'm gonna start here. All right,
You just gonna jump on them, son?
I'm just gonna jump on it. Look, fellas, listen up, fellas, young brothers.
Young brothers.
These streets not playing fair.
I know they never did, really.
No. Go home. Be with your family or start one. Start taking trips with your boys. Take the children out of town. Give your woman the attention and the energy that she deserves. The jails and graves have enough bodies. Go home.
Yeah, I feel that, Pig. I feel that.
Hey, you don't owe nothing to these streets.
Or nobody.
Or nobody. But everybody you owe something to is home.
Is home.
Is home. Go the hell on home. And I usually tell you, you ain't got to get the hell out of here, but get the hell out of them streets and go home. Or no, that's not how it go. You ain't got to go home, but get the hell out of here.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I tell you
You
what.
ain't got to go home, but you got to go somewhere.
You got to go somewhere. Get out these streets, y'all.
Sherry, you back? What's up, Sherry?
My favorite Facebook cousin.
We can't even get it up and popping. Something going on with the live.
Jeez, I know, man, but
wow.
You know. We got it. We on one phone anyway.
That's right. We're still going to do it regardless because we do this.
That's right, because we do this. Hey, let's get something straight here, okay? About the American economy. It wasn't poor people on welfare who crashed the economy. What's wrong? It was crooked bankers. We call them banksters.
Banksters?
Yeah. It wasn't immigrants who took your job. It was greedy employers who intentionally hired someone they could underpay so they could get more profit.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security that bankrupted. We call them banksters. It was tax cuts for the rich and obscene levels of military spending. That's what it did to you. That's where. And you know what?
What?
The Orange Disaster. He had a lot of firsts as president.
A lot of what?
A lot of firsts. You know, he's the first. He was the first president. Then he gonna go down for all these firsts. All right.
Oh yeah, that's what his whole object was, to get in there and be the first to do this, the first to do that, the first to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was.
He had a plan, and he gonna go down in history as the first, like you said, and the worst.
And the worst, because he was the first president in 28 years not to serve a second term. He was the first in 45 years not to release any of his tax return. Wow. He had a lot of firsts. He was the first in 89 years to lose the presidency, the House, and the Senate in one single term. Not first. He going down in history as the first president in 102 years to allow 120,000 Americans to die in a single virus outbreak.
Wow.
Yeah. The first president in 129 years to lose the popular vote twice.
That's crazy.
Damn. He was the first president in 152 years to boycott his successor's inauguration.
Wow. See, you can tell he was prejudiced right there.
Right there.
I mean, when you not going to acknowledge that? Oh, it's been
right.
done throughout history that this is how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
We shake hands and transfer the power. And you know, and just the ignorancy that he had as a racist white man.
Yeah.
Because I didn't consider him a president.
I heard that.
But anyway.
Yeah. That's where that turn your mic up there.
Yeah. Yaga.
All right. Yeah. What was it? Oh. He was the first president ever to fail to hit a 50% approval rating at any point in his presidency. The first president ever to accuse his predecessor of not being an American. Like that's that racist crap he's talking about. Orange disaster. He was the first president ever to be elected with the help of a foreign nation. See, he wasn't for the American peoples. He's the first president ever to be impeached twice. And they still didn't get that fool out of office when they impeached him. They should have. The Republicans had the Senate or whatever. He was the first president ever to have a member of their own party vote for conviction in an impeachment trial. And one of the Republicans said, "Oh, he did this mess. He did it. Oh yeah, he did it. Lock that ass up." First president ever to have an arrest warrant issued against him by a foreign nation. Jeez Louise. I remember what nation was that? Whatever one it was, I can't remember.
What, China?
No, I don't think it was China. Oh, man. I can't remember what nation it was. But he better not go there because they're going to lock his ass up.
What nation wanted to arrest President Trump?
There you go. That's right. He is the first president ever to refuse to concede defeat. The first president ever to fail to ensure a peaceful...
Iran?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Well, he wasn't going to Iran.
Arrest for Trump.
Everybody sent up marshals for that ass. That's word. And like Nsoromma said, he was the first president ever to fail to ensure a peaceful transfer of power. And the first president ever to actively incite a terrorist attack against his own damn government.
That's crazy.
And remember, he threw Pence, his vice president, under the bus.
Oh yeah, he was known for throwing people under the bus. That was his
Yeah. You got that right. Jeez Louise, man. Oh, the open eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. We will take your call. Call us at 844-WHGE 953. The open eye. The open eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, founders and builders of Pearl Center, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware.
Our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by organized hosts, guest working contributors are theirs and are not intended to
really can't get on. I really can't get on, man.
Did you close the Facebook thing and then try it?
Views and opinions expressed.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yo, what's up, Lorraine? That all Lorraine Muhammad?
Lorraine Muhammad, yeah, Sister Lorraine from the Nation of Islam.
Hello, Lorraine. We see you. We waving at you. What's good? Yeah. I can't even get the Facebook. I can't even get my pop. Look, my screen is dead. I can't even. And this the new 2020. I don't know what's going on with this.
A new phone?
Yeah, it's my new phone. I got it for my birthday. I had it for a minute, but it ain't doing nothing. It ain't grabbing Facebook or nothing. I don't know what's up with that.
Crazy.
It ain't giving me my live.
It ain't giving you live.
It ain't even bringing up all the stuff. Yeah. Wow.
WHGE 95.3 FM. The overnight with Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
All right. Hey, you know Nsoromma?
What's that?
You know the COVID vaccine is free.
The COVID vaccine is free.
Yeah, that's
they
free.
trying to charge you now?
No, it's free. As a matter of fact, if you'll put you in a lottery, you can win some money. Now, the COVID vaccine is free. Why? Because they say it's to save lives. So how come insulin and chemotherapy ain't free?
I mean, I just heard today that it's nanonites in this COVID vaccine. And they strategically put in there to hide from your immune system, because our bodies are so intelligent that when they put something in our body will fight it off, right? So they had designed these nanograms that'll go around your body's natural defense system, right? And go into your brain. And when it's in your brain, these nanotechnologies is like a computer that's going in your brain. So once they get All America vaccine, they can be able to go to their phone on an app and say, okay, I want all Americans to go to sleep 9 o'clock.
All Americans go to sleep 9 o'clock.
Ain't that crazy? Now that's the way that's the technology that we're working in right now. So some of us won't believe it. You know, just think they are cloning human beings.
Yeah.
Okay, now to do that is nothing.
You know what?
Feel what I'm saying? To do what I'm telling you right now is nothing.
Yeah. You know what? Now we know our phones are tracking devices. They tracking wherever we go.
Most definitely.
But there's more than that.
Tracking devices, listening device.
Yeah. And not only that,
camera.
but my boy, he wasn't on his phone, wasn't doing nothing with his phone. He was talking to his mom about what she likes to eat.
Right.
All right.
And the phone grabbed it.
He on his way home, he stopped in the parking lot and he, filed through his phone and what have you. Okay. And lamb chops came up. He ain't look up lamb chops. He ain't say nothing about lamb chops.
The phone is always listening.
The phone always listening.
It's a listening device.
That's word.
And transmit.
And that's what came up.
But I'm saying that's how America has, or is trying to get control of America.
Of the population.
Right. They get you to put all your stuff, digital money, digital currency, and all of this. So when they actually want to shut things down, remember when they shut the bank down? Couldn't nobody get no money for a day?
Yeah.
Now, if you wasn't a hustler, if you wasn't living on the street, and people that was working and doing the Mac card and don't carry cash, they was crushed.
Yeah.
So just think, they trying to make everybody participate with this digital currency and this digital lifestyle so they can control you with the press of a button.
Well, I brought up
what
the medicine and what have you.
Yeah.
Because I want to quote Dr. A. Greenberg from Maryland. Now, I don't think he was from Maryland, but anyway, Dr. A. Greenberg. Look, I seen that MD behind his name. I said, oh yeah, he's from Maryland. MD means medical doctor, y'all. Just got the abbreviation from Maryland. That made me think of one of our uncles. He's very, very elderly and what have you. He said, all them doctors is from Maryland. Got MD behind the name. All right. As a retired physician, this is what he said. Dr. Greenberg, he said, as a retired physician, I can honestly say that unless you are in a serious accident, your best chance of living to a ripe old age is to avoid doctors and hospitals and learn about nutrition, herbal medicine, and other forms of natural medicine, unless you are fortunate enough to have a naturopathic physician available. Almost all drugs are toxic and designed only to treat symptoms and not cure anyone.
And not only that, the drugs that they prescribe, it'll heal this and mess up that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it's been going throughout the history of, it not being natural.
Right.
Unless it's natural, it would mess something else up.
That's what
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like America is designed to make money off of the American
profit.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want in. It's just that simple. I'm tired of being broke.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of my people are tired of being broke.
Doggone
so
right.
It's all about coming up with a plan now to make our people rich like we were. Everything take money to do whatever it is. To get your insulin, it costs money. To live in a house, it costs money. To drive a car, it costs money. I mean, everything is designed around money.
That's what it is.
So why is that not the first thing in our head to get abundantly?
Yeah, it's the American way. And I tell you about medicine. Okay. The thing is, the pharmaceutical companies are drug dealers. Understand what that means. They are not curing a damn thing. There is no profit in curing anything. All right. When's the last time they came up with something that actually cured something? I'm gonna tell you, the polio vaccine. The polio vaccine in the 50s was the last time they actually cured something. You call me during the show. Jeez Louise. All right. I'm gonna take this call, y'all.
Yeah, they.
Live radio, y'all. Ain't no telling what you're gonna get on live radio. I'm telling you that. But it's all good. It's all good. That's our illustrious leader calling. Okay. Like I was saying, there's no cure in profit. All right. The cure is to get people hooked on some medicine. I mean, the profit is to get people hooked on some medicine so that they have to take it in perpetuity, meaning for the rest of their lives.
And depend on them.
And depend on them. That's what, like bro said, it's about that money.
Definitely about that couple dollars. Because that's what it boiled down to.
That's what it boiled down to.
Everybody got money on their mind.
That's right.
Especially the elite.
Especially the elite.
Right.
Okay? And listen, I want to go somewhere else, but I'm going to stick with this right now. All right? And I'm going to come back to it, though. Okay? Do not believe that you are at fault for being impoverished, for being poor. Okay? It makes me think of, you remember Dave O'Connor?
Dave O'Connor? Yeah. I remember Dave.
Yeah, he's working his print shop. All right? He was a staunch conservative, or is a staunch conservative. I guess he's still there. But I asked him, why do conservatives hate poor people? He said, because they're poor. Okay, well,
that's not an answer because they poor. That's not a logical answer. Of course, it's not. I mean, you can hate somebody for being poor, for being black. I mean, that's not a reason.
That's not a reason, but because they're poor. And he said, well, poor people are poor because they want to be. Are you on drugs? Nobody wants to be poor.
Nah, I'm saying, when people say stuff like that to me, I feel what you're saying, but then you don't want me to turn to the person that will get me out of this problem.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
You'll say, oh yeah, the poor people do whatever. Then when I go get my heat or I go get my knife and I take all your stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I get hungry for the game, I go into the survival mode, and now I'm a criminal, I'm all this kind of stuff. Like when you stepping on my neck, it stop me from even getting, being a better person, getting out of poverty. You holding me down. It's not like I don't want to be a better or a rich person. It's you're holding me down. You're putting block roads and blockages and roadblocks in front of me. So, and with saying that, when they talk to you like that, I just go, okay, so you'd rather be clumped in the head or robbed or somebody running your house at night because they poor?
Yeah. You know, and see, like I said, who wants to be poor? You know, it makes me think of I'm going to quote James Evans from Good Time. If you look at the list of all the things people don't want to be, right there near the top, right after sick and dead, is poor. Okay? This situation is orchestrated, all right? Especially on our people. You know, from the early 1900s right up through the day, the face of poverty is a black face. And if you think that's by mistake, it's not. You got to consider all the things that we have been through to keep us economically oppressed. And then, when we get up to do something about it, for instance, start screaming Black Lives Matter, because the physical violence is a big part of the economic violence.
Right.
Okay? So, we get up and we say Black Lives Matter. And what happens? The race hustlers jump in on the game, backed by white supremacy. Grieving mothers slam the Black Lives Matter founders for taking the money after they stepped down. You know, one of them, I hate to use her damn name, because her name is Patrice Colors.
Oh, because you got your name. She got to get, yo.
Yeah. You know? Now, the total amount of money raised by Black Lives Matter in 2020 from billionaire George Soros, international corporations, and gullible white liberal Democrats by exploiting the misery of black families whose relatives were killed by police. All while pushing a transgender anti-nuclear family agenda. Now, what does that mean? Okay, that's that trans LGBT agenda.
And they putting that in everything, all the TV,
cartoons,
you want a hamburger,
crazy
you
stuff.
want to get a hamburger, and it's it's crazy how the media can control, because they can force it on you. And when they can force it on you, you have no way of stopping the injection into you.
Right,
because it's all right.
Which is why we have to control the narrative.
Right.
And the propaganda.
Right.
You know, and like I said, this Black Lives Matter leadership, 3 lesbians, who you sleep with is your damn business.
True,
okay?
True.
But when you pushing that, and you pushing an agenda that removes the masculine heterosexual black male from the center of the black household, you get rewarded $90 million by white supremacy. Total amount of money spent by Black Lives Matter to pay for the funerals of black victims of police brutality, educational programs, entrepreneurial training, and leadership development for inner city black youth who are disproportionately victimized by police brutality and who have been systematically subjugated and disenfranchised. How much did Black Lives Matter give to those efforts? Not a penny.
But I'm saying you gotta, we intelligent people as a people, as an organ of people. Now, it's crazy how, you know, the government can go, okay, I want these particular people to be poor, these particular people to be medium rich, these particular people to be elite. You know what I'm saying? And once you be able to structure a scale that you can throw people in anytime you feel like it, that's, I think, wrong in itself as a governing.
Oh yeah.
As the governing of the whole thing, you know, of the people. So, I mean, It's us that have to go, yo, I don't need the government for nothing. I mean, I'm talking for myself right now. Okay. I don't need them for anything. I have done everything that I have done myself, and physically through the work of my, the physical me. Okay? They have nothing to do with that. And that's what they attack. That is your best quality. The physical work that you can do, or the intellectual work that you can do. And now, when you have somebody that says, oh, God, no, he's a good writer, right? And then they come in and say, no, don't stop writing that, write this. Now they telling you what to write. You're not you no more.
Right.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Right. So now, if you let somebody come into your establishment, your temple, your domain, and they let them start narrating
what you gonna do,
you're not you.
That's right.
Anymore.
No, you're not.
Okay,
you're not. And I feel
be
you
yourself,
on that, bro.
Man.
I feel you on that, And like I said, see, this is where, like I said, this is where the hustle come in.
Right.
Because we had talked about something last week, and I got that here. Sucky. But anyway, back to what you were saying. If you do not allow anyone to dictate how you live
and move,
I mean, you're gonna be a hell of a lot better off.
Of course, and the government try to dictate that for its American citizens.
Now the grifters, you know what a grifter is? It's a con artist who co-founded Black Lives Matter, along with the poverty pimps out there that hustle our people. And I'm talking about some particular people, these grant hustlers, grant chasers, and unfortunately, some of the worst poverty pimps are some of those from the black church. I seen Beacon Chickenfoot up there at the damn bank again.
Beacon Chickenfoot.
Beacon Chickenfoot with a police escort.
Miss Hughes. Yes,
sir. And I tell you, they have got to be exposed when they are using our people for their hustle. And that's what this damn leader from Black Lives Matter did. And that's why the grieving mothers slammed her. And they should have. See, a big part of the problem is we have forgotten, not only have we forgotten, but it's been drunk out of us, who we are. All right? And who we are historically are the best people to manage a state. We forgot about our ability to manage a state, to manage, when I say manage a state, I don't mean like, Delaware, the state of the United, I mean a country. Our ability to manage a country is what we seem to have forgotten. All right, I'll tell you a couple of people who didn't forget or remember. And that's the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame asked, why should someone print paper and hand them over to us as money? Remember, this is the president of Rwanda in Africa, where there's a lot of foreign aid going on. All right? Hand over to these African nations money and let us pay back, not with a paper, which they also have the right to print. These African nations, they print their own damn money too. Instead, we are required as African nations to pay these paper loans in values, resources, and efforts. Africa is the most mineral-rich continent in the world.
And they always showing you poor and starving Africans, the woods. Africa has one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Yes, not only one, several of the most beautiful. Man, Rwanda, I want to go to Rwanda because just their transportation, their public transportation system alone, it makes America look like it's something out of the 1800s. All right? President Kagame of Rwanda remembered how to manage a state. He knew how to manage a state. And he said he came to the realization that when they come with this monopoly money and loan you this monopoly money, and then they want tangible resources in return, that's nothing but an act of modern slavery and colonization. Don't allow that crap to go on, my brothers in Africa. Now, my brothers here in America, when you get in charge of a city, what happens? The state government starts cutting off resources to that city. Case in point, let's take a look at Detroit, Michigan, or Flint, Michigan. When these cities became predominantly black, when these cities became were being run by black politicians, what did the state do? First, they cut off the resources to the city. Then they came in and said, you're mismanaging things because you ain't got no damn resources. What the hell kind of con is that? And then, since the city was being mismanaged, the governor declared that it's a municipality that is under state control. See, that's that hustle.
Yeah, they keep the hustle popping, baby.
Yep. And I'll tell you another African that said, hey, I know how to manage a state, and I'm going to show you how it's done. All right? Muammar Gaddafi. Let me tell you why Gaddafi was killed. One, Gaddafi, well, first before, let me preface that with this. Gaddafi knew how to run a state. There is no electricity bill in Libya. Electricity is free for all its citizens. Do you know that Americans would freak out if that were the case? Oh, that's communist, that's socialism. Yeah. You know, that's right. That's what they would do. You know, there's no interest on loans in Libya. The banks in Libya are all state-owned. And loans given to any citizen that needs it at a 0% interest rate. Oh, boy, Americans would lose their mind if we did that. Home is considered a human right in Libya. All right? Gaddafi vowed that his parents would not get a house until everyone had a home. And he would not live in a house until everyone had a home. Guess what? Under Gaddafi, there was no homelessness. Here in America, homelessness is part of the regular. Yeah. It's part of the landscape. All right? It's bad here in Delaware. Okay? All over. But man, you go to California?
I know, man.
Oh my God.
I mean, only because there's more people in California. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the ratio of the people in California and the people in Delaware, there's more people in Delaware that's homeless than it really is in California. And the population is less.
Right.
Now how?
So it's per capita.
Oh my God.
You know? Now, in Libya, what Gaddafi did was he understood that the foundation of a society, okay, the first governing body is the family. So he promoted things to uplift the family,
That's why they didn't like him, man. That's why America didn't like him. His morals was for the people.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't let America come in and just bully him.
Right.
Like, you know, they do every other colony.
You hit it right, colony of America. Because if you use an American money, you're an American colony.
Almost definitely.
That's what. Now, in Libya, all newlyweds receive 60,000 dinars. That's about 50,000 US dollars from the government to buy their first home. All right? Education and medical treatments are free in Libya. Before Gaddafi, only 25% of Libyans were literate. Today, that figure stands at 83%. And guess what? At least 25 to 35% have college degrees. Libyans take up farming as a career. It's not just a hustle. They receive farmland, a farming house, equipment, seeds, and land stock. The kids start their farms, all for free. Now, to tell you something.
The United States has never done anything like that.
Well, actually, they did.
When?
during the after the Civil War,
I know it had to be a fight. I know it had to be a fight for them to insert that back to build our economy.
Yeah, but see, here was the motivation that America had for doing that. Okay, there were black farmers, and they were profitable, and they knew what they were doing. They were agricultural scientists.
Right.
Okay.
Naturally.
Right. All right. It's part of their heritage, you know, as Africans and whatnot. All right. There were too many of them, so they needed to be offset. So what America did was they opened up America to European immigrants. Okay, and they showed that they were willing to undergird these immigrants with economic structure. And that economic structure was to open up the West and give these immigrants free farmland. All right? This comes from not a speech, but a discussion with Dr. King was having with some people about a month before he died. All right?
Was killed.
He said, America, who is not only willing, but is motivated to economically hurt black people, was more than willing to give this European immigrants an economic base to grow from. So they gave them the land. All right? Not only did they give them the land, but they gave them land grant colleges to teach them how to farm. Not only that, but they mechanized the farms, they modernized them. Not only that, but they gave them loans to support the effort. You know, I'm paraphrasing here the way Dr. King break it down. I'm no Dr. King in my speech, but at any rate, the point is they took from blacks, held blacks down, and was more than willing to give a white immigrant an economic base.
Right.
All right. Now, black farmers owned something like 3 to 4% of the land after slavery. Here we are in the 21st century, 2021. Black farmers own 1% of the farmland.
If that.
If that. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Yeah. Okay. Let me say.
I say get the gun. Let's go. But I'm a warrior.
I heard that. And we're going to talk about that too. If Libyans cannot find the education or medical facilities they need in Libya, the government funded them to go abroad. You go outside the country and find what you need. Now, we had talked about something about that. One of the instructions that Gaddafi, who considered himself an African, in spite of his Arabic heritage, all right, he charged those that he sent overseas for an education, specifically the men. He said, don't come home with no European, because we cannot build an African empire between the legs of a European. Marry who you want, but hey. All right. Libya has no external debt. Okay, its reserves amount to 150 billion, now globally frozen all, you know, they can't get their money. All right.
And that's what they'll do in America. They'll freeze your money.
They'll freeze your money. They'll freeze your money. That's exactly what they will do. Yeah, that's what. See, that's the thing. We have to remember that we know how to manage a state. Let me tell you something. Everybody that calls themselves a leader, a preacher, a policy maker, or of any kind, should ask and answer the question: in his own lifetime, how will my people stand on this earth? How will they be educated? How will they be schooled? How will they be housed? And how will they be defended? The answer to these questions will create the concept of enduring nationhood, state management, because it creates the concept of enduring responsibility. I'm saying, whatever the solution is, either we are in charge of our own destiny or we are not in charge. On that point, be clear. You're either free or you're a goddamn slave.
Ooh. I mean, I definitely don't want to be a slave.
Hell no. Hell no.
I hate being a slave for myself when I know I got to do stuff and I got to go do this stuff. Like clean the bathroom and stuff like that. Like things that you have to do. That's when you become the slave to yourself.
To yourself.
So,
but that's called self-responsibility.
Most definitely. So you want to do that. But to be forced to be a slave for someone else for no pay, or getting paid taken away from you as you work.
Or getting slave wages.
Right. I mean, that'll never work for me. I'll always be hostile body.
I heard that.
Say.
Doggone right.
Yeah.
Doggone right. And it's something that, like I said, that's self-responsibility. But remember something. Last week, it was Monday. Monday was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And I brought that up on our last show. That, Memorial Day, the history of Memorial Day. Okay. Well, let me tell you something. This thing is so crazy that it blows my mind that we are still actually fighting about whether or not teachers should be allowed to tell the truth. That's what all this crap is about. The opposing critical race theory. Because
you gotta think, man. If you've been treated and injected with a lie, as far as you can remember, through generations of remembrance, yeah, they're gonna have a problem with that. Of course. Are you crazy? I'm not gonna let. What? Of course, they're gonna defend that to the 10th and 11th, 12th power.
Yeah.
Because that's their economy. They're not gonna let their economy crash.
Oh no.
By no means necessary. They'll go out there and just start locking up their own people. When it comes to that type of thing, yeah, they directed as black. They directed all of their economy source of money through black people, such as car tickets and speeding tickets and criminal things. They pick us to be the criminal. You understand? And when they pick you to be the criminal, I have not a criminal record.
Right.
But when the police pull up on me, they look at me like I am a criminal.
Yeah.
And I look at them like you're the criminal. Because you are the criminal.
Because you're a race soldier.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you coming up to me thinking I'm a criminal, treating me like a criminal, that's criminal to me.
I heard that.
That's disrespectful to me.
Because your skin color is criminal in their mind.
In their mind.
In their mind.
That's where it lies at.
They
look at us like a criminal and income source. We are
well said, brother.
So if you dealing with these type of people and they looking at you like you're an income source and you think you say, look, I'm ready to go do my own thing. You think they gonna let you go?
Yo, what I tell you, what Uncle Richard tell us. Uncle Richard taught us that the worst thing to a white person, okay, with a penny is a black man with a nickel. All right, understand what that means. Now, like I said, last week, I told you about Memorial Day.
Right.
Memorial Day was started by black people after the Civil War who went into a Confederate prison camp after the Confederacy had been defeated, dug up the bodies of black and white Union soldiers out of a mass grave. They took the time to do this, all right, and dug individual graves for each of those people and memorialized them in the proper way. Now just think of the character of the people there. Yeah, that's
See,
right.
That's what is being squashed. It's the character that the individual has. If I can make you not love your mom, and she done took care of you 18 years, and that 18th year, throughout the whole time of her taking care of you, when you turn 18 and get grown, and I say, yo, your mom ain't Dookie.
Sure.
You see what I'm
And
saying?
you go with that.
And you say, what? Okay, I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how dumb is that?
Yeah.
You,
And how lacking of character.
right,
is that?
and then the character and accepting the fact
Mm-hmm.
that he even talking about your mom.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even talk about my mom.
You know?
You know what I'm saying?
No.
And so it's
You know, but let me
they
tell you about
man.
how the history is just so egregious to these racist white people. Okay, the American Legion in Hudson, what is that? Hudson, Ohio, I think it is. Is that where it is? Akron? Yeah, because it's from the Akron Deacon. So Akron is in Ohio. The charter of the Hudson American Legion Post was suspended as its leader resigned. Okay? And he resigned because check out what they did. They invited a lieutenant colonel, a retired lieutenant colonel, who's a white man, to
They
speak,
know who they are.
yeah, to speak at their Memorial Day celebration. All right? He got up. What's his name? He got up and he spoke about the history of Memorial Day. It's a white dude, retired lieutenant colonel. All right, and I got his name here somewhere. But at any rate, right, what they did when he started talking about the history and how it was actually founded, they cut his mic for getting up and saying Memorial Day was founded by black people after the Civil War, and they cut his mic. Yep, they didn't want him to talk about that.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, hey, turn that air conditioner. Who was it? It was what was the hussy's name? Cindy Shushan, who was the chair of the Memorial Day Parade Committee and president of the Hudson American Legion Auxiliary. Right? Her and the head of the president of the American Legion, they were the ones, they told him before he even got up there. All right? They told the lieutenant colonel before he even got up there. They'll cut that part out about the history. Because they didn't want that. The Lieutenant Colonel Bernard Kempter, all right? Mike was cut. They told him, look, he spoke about black people. They was like, oh no, we're not having that. We're not having that. And they cut his mic. But they were shut down by the American Legion, and they should have been. They should have been shut down. It's a mess like that. Okay? See, you know what? When it comes to education, all right? What's wrong with the way we fund our schools?
Everything.
No, you got that right. Let me tell you about two school districts, and this is a true story. These two school districts are in the same state. In fact, they're in adjacent counties. In the first school district, the median family income is $176,000 a year. 0 students qualify for federal free and reduced lunch program. Now, in the second school district, the median family income is $34,000. Over 95% of the students qualify for the federal free and reduced lunch program. Now, the wealthier school district receives $1,000 more per pupil in education from state funding. We're talking about $7 million per year and less funding for the school in the poorer district. And the education reformers will tell you that money doesn't matter. That's a crime. Where a lower funded school will have larger class sizes, fewer field trips, lower paid teachers, older computers, fewer librarians, fewer nurses, fewer counselors, fewer electives, class electives, fewer extracurricular activities such as music, such as art, such as vocational
program. Okay.
But all we can afford to give you is standardized tests. Okay, we can afford to fire your teachers, and we can afford to close your schools and privatize them, but justice, oh, we can't afford that. Standardized tests are a poor substitute for justice. And accountability based on tests is a poor substitute for equitable treatment. I've always been astounded by the fact that the same politicians who vote to hold all our schools accountable in the same test score targets as though everything's equal. These are the same men and women who vote to fund our schools at vastly different dollar amounts. Educational malpractice doesn't happen in the classroom. The greatest educational malpractice in the United States happens in the state house, not the schoolhouse. If we truly cared about how our students end up, we would have shared accountability, where everyone whose fingerprints on these students of ours has to answer for the choices they make. See, the desegregations of school have always been a cruel joke on African American students. After the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education ruling, few schools actually desegregated. Some school districts took as long as 20 years to make some semblance of racial adjustment. For instance, Boston in the 1970s, Delaware in the 1970s, we were part of that. These desegregation efforts were met with white resentment, hostility, and violence as the efforts in the 50s. 20 years later, you would have thought that people would have become racially enlightened. Not so. Okay? African Americans were confused about the tactics to educate our children or miseducate our children. And this is why. We confuse quality with whiteness. If it's white, it's right. See, we were fooled by the illusion of inclusion because the white schools were much better funded than the African American schools. And would be able to take advantage, black students would be able to take advantage of the resources that white students enjoy. So African Americans were sent to white suburban schools where they were met by hostile white teachers and school administrations who made immense efforts. And students, right?
Because I was that here. I was who you were talking about. I was that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Many of these efforts were very successful. Here in Delaware, the dropout rate has been obscene. And I hate calling it the dropout rate because what it actually is the push out rate. How many kids they can push out and make sure they don't get no education.
Yeah, and that's what the problem is in America. They push all these other agendas, but the agendas to our kids, to their future, to the next presidents, and to the next CEOs of the corporations. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
They're not looking to the future for America. They're only looking to destroy America.
It seems that way.
I mean, and the people in America, because I don't want to be destroyed. I don't want my kids to be destroyed. If I was to die today, I would say I lived a good life and I didn't really miss anything. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good if I was to die today. But that 2-year-old and that 3-year-old that's got a new life that they just getting ready to start, the new president or the new queen of the world or whoever that they may grow up to be, if their opportunity is cut from the gate and they won't reach for because they don't got the proper things,
right?
You know,
and there's no accountability,
right? And there's no accountability of who's in control of that. It's supposed to be the government,
right?
And the government is not even looking and thinking about that.
Because what we don't understand is we are the government, okay? But we put these substandard, corrupt people in office,
right? And
even in our own community,
for us,
right?
And when we should be the ones that design the plan, design everything, and go to them and go, yo, we need this done.
That's right.
And we need this done.
Right.
And they're not even accepting your appointment.
No.
They'll go, oh, I'm busy.
Oh,
and
right.
keep drinking their coffee and looking at a movie.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's wrong.
That's
man.
right. You know, I can remember going to this politician's office. He gave me an appointment. Okay. He said, accepted my appointment. All right. So, you know, I put on my tie and this, that, and the
I
other.
wouldn't have put on nothing. I'd have went in there like a bum.
Hey,
Smelling
well,
bummy and everything.
Okay. All right. I feel you. And this is what I should have did. All right. I went in there with my tie and my jacket and my slacks and my dress shoes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I was there 10 minutes before it was time for my appointment.
Right.
And I was there to get the community some assistance. Mm-hmm.
Right. This
He
wasn't for
knew
you.
this. It
This
wasn't
wasn't
for
for
me.
you. Right.
And he knew this. He left me sitting there for a half hour before he even talked to me. And then didn't even want to bring me in his office, talk to me in the hallway. I'm not going to relate the extreme language that I used to express how I felt about how I was treated to this politician. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But I moved on. Okay? And then he remembered that, oh, that's a columnist for the Wilmington Spectator.
Right.
Oh, yo, listen, man. Stop on back to my office and we gonna see if we can get your program on the road. I said, you know what? I got my program on the road.
Right.
Without political help.
Right.
You know? I went back to the community and said, look, they're not gonna help us. We need to make this happen.
Right.
And the community stepped up, thank God.
And they always step up. When we reach out to them, it's just we need more people reaching out to them.
Right.
More people with plans to make our community
integrity.
better. Right. So I mean, when you go to present these plans and stuff to these politicians, you will get action instead of pushed aside or waved off or brushed off. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
Because they will brush you off in a minute.
They will. They will. That's where, you know, brother, we done went through it. But look, I got to bring up that this week was the 100th anniversary of Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay? And I saw, and I can't remember her name, but I saw one of the survivors, okay? She was 7 years old when Black Wall Street took place. She's now 107 years old.
Wow.
Okay?
Blessings.
Yes,
blessings.
indeed. Now, one of the things that I noticed about this lady, okay, is how articulate she was. Now, she said she, because of, you know, what happened with Black Wall Street, her education didn't go beyond the 4th grade, okay? But she was so articulate, okay, that she sounded like, you know, a Rhodes Scholar. Yeah, you know? Guess what? This was not unusual for our people after slavery. This was the norm.
Right.
You know, this ideal that we were speaking broken English, if and we in, you know.
I mean, they always throw salt in the road. Yeah, you know that.
Yeah, you know. And this is a message to our people.
Right.
All right. If you meet someone that speaks English well, a black person, stop that crap about, you know what, you trying to talk white. Okay? Because those slaves that spoke broken English learned it from white people. So no, that's not speaking white. Being articulate and being able to communicate clearly is a trait of our people.
Right.
Understand?
And that's what we harvest on most, because we don't want people to get us misconstrued.
Right. That's right. We want to be clear with what we say.
Right. Yeah, well, we want to be extra clear.
Big time. Well, my brother, it is time for us to get out of here. All right. And usually, you know, my
Bessie.
Yeah. Oh, Bessie.
Percy.
Yes, indeed.
Mitchie, we see you. Look,
Yeah,
the
but-
support is lovely. We love the support.
That's what.
Thank y'all for the support. You know what
Big
I'm saying?
time.
And keep supporting. We'll keep shouting y'all out. And yo, call us to 844 WHGE 953. You dig?
All right.
What you saying?
All right. Now, usually, you know, I close out with a rant.
Okay, we're going to do that. Nope. We're going to do that. No,
Well, it's not going to be. It's not
it
going.
ain't going to be a rant.
It's not going to be a rant, but it's going to be some love today.
Oh, it's love today.
It's love
It's
today.
a rant love today.
It's a rant love today.
All right, yeah, I
okay?
love rant. I
This
love
is
rant
from
today.
Khalil Gibran,
All right.
the teacher. All right?
Okay.
We hope you learn something.
Okay.
Okay. No man can reveal to you anything but that which already lies half asleep in the dawning of your knowledge.
Right.
The teacher who walks in the shadow of the temple among his followers gives not of his wisdom, but rather of his faith and lovingness.
Okay.
If he is indeed wise, he does not bid you to enter the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your own mind.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. It's dope and I.
Thank you, the teacher.
Yes, indeed. And as I always say, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. This is the Open Eye and WHGE 95.3 FM on Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
Thanks for joining us.
Yaga. Good job, homie. Other you was on that thing. Hey, yo, what's good? I ain't got my phone, so we talking to y'all today. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for joining in. Mitchell, Percy, Betsy, hey, yo, Sherry, Lorraine. Hey, yo, what happened to my boy? Where my boy at?
Who that?
Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn, where you at? Hey,
I don't know, he might be all celebrating his birthday. I know it's
Happy
his birthday.
birthday, brother. Many
That's
more,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Yaga.
Peace. Thanks for joining us.